Pavlov's Caracal, maybe a new mayor, and Octopie pie.
My name is Bomber Webb.
And I'm Chris.
Chris Olsen. Okay.
Yes, yeah,
And
yeah,
you've been
that one.
listening to. No, you're about to listen to. Oh my goodness, could I get this any more wrong? You're about to listen to This Week in Sedgefield.
Srah! I was driving back from coffee this morning, actually on the way to coffee as well, but they'd kind of blocked off some stop streets just past Swallow. Was it on Swallow Drive? No, it wouldn't have been. Just by Swallow Drive over there.
Okay.
And there was a whole crew out there ready and painting the stop streets.
Oh wow, what were they painting on them?
I'm not sure. I just drove straight through.
Okay. Hope it wasn't the word stop. That'll confuse all of the
people won't know what to
locals.
do.
Yeah.
You mean, we have to do what over here?
Yes, yeah. No, they should just put pause and
That's
give up.
it.
Yeah, please pause here.
I liked how you gave it. You gave it the title "A Comma Street."
Oh, a comma street.
A comma
yes.
street. Yeah, I'm gonna run with that.
Don't stop. Just comma. Yeah, absolutely.
But hey, it is the season.
Isn't it just?
Tis it not?
Yes, 'tis the season to be jolly, and fast approaching the season. Yeah,
Have all
Christmas.
the Christmas.
Yes.
Scarce mos. Hey,
Yes.
are some of the Christmas lights on along the streets?
Yeah, the lighthouse is lit on
That's
Swallow
right.
Street.
Yes, we were there
Gets
the
bigger
other
every
evening.
year.
Yeah,
It's great. Lots and lots of
Beautiful,
lights.
hey.
Lots of people wandering around looking. I do feel sorry for the couple that run it. I mean,
Yes.
they obviously have to. Will have clean laundry and all that sort of thing. You can't. Kind of people
I
wandering
think we
around
all
your
do,
garden
Bomber.
with your smalls still on the line.
No,
But yeah, it's great. It's become
beautiful,
such
eh?
a great
What
tradition.
an institution.
Yeah,
Is
and
it
then
not?
there's something else on your Hunt Street. Look, there's quite a few
Yes.
houses that do the lights thing.
Oh yeah, it's cool. You see more and more of them.
Yeah, more and
hey?
more.
It's like it's
great.
catching
As
on.
more people with young kids move to the area,
very festive.
Wonderful. And also there's a house on your Hunt Street. We had it in our paper. They've put up a post box for letters to Santa.
Ah,
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay. This was in the Edge. There was a photo. Yes.
yeah. So it's your Hunt Street on the island, and I think what's going to happen is if there are any children listening to this, they write a letter to Santa, and they include in the envelope a
Some money.
self-addressed envelope with a stamp.
Oh.
Then Santa can write back to them and say, "Hey, dude,
Sorry, sorry, bud.
sorry you didn't get the bicycle."
Not gonna get you that.
Yeah,
Oh,
no. I don't know what Santa will, because Santa will have no idea what they. Well, of course, Santa will know what they. I'm getting myself in a corner.
Yeah, no,
Let's
you're
move on.
struggling
Let's move
here.
on. Yeah. I have a question for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
I know it is Christmas coming up.
True.
And I was quite delighted to sit behind this microphone in this very, very tidy office and see this little a round chocolate treat
It's not for
sitting on
you.
the table in front of me. And then I saw sitting on the table in front of you a whole bar of Toblerone.
Oh,
and I don't
yes.
think this is fair. Hey?
Do you want to swap desks?
I think we should. Do you say Toblerone or Toblerone?
I say it's mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, there's a family
off
argument
it.
that we have.
Toblerone
or Toblerone?
I don't know. Progress. Data.
Oh,
Potato.
Tomato, no thanks.
What the hell's a potato? That's one of our favorite quotes from some random series thing that we watched. But yes, it is very much the season, isn't it?
It is, and it's a wonderful time of the year, except.
Don't say except family and relatives coming because we're in the garden route. Not allowed to say
I
it.
get one more post on social media telling me that I mustn't celebrate Christmas on the 25th because it's
okay. I know about this.
pagan holiday it's the wrong date or I'm so tired of those. They're pointing fingers. We're just celebrating something special.
Yes, very
Why
special.
is the date that important?
Oh man,
we're celebrating it together.
Can I jump in on this? Because I get quite excited about this. Do you have your history lesson pants on? I was going to say
do,
hat.
yes.
Okay, good. You got those ones on. Good.
Both on, yes.
Okay, so Christians have been celebrating Christmas on the 25th of December for about the past 1,600 years. Now, that's not to say that every Christian should celebrate it on the 25th or even celebrate it at all. Well, we celebrate that Jesus came. That's a big deal.
That's what the celebration is about.
But already in about the year 350 odd, around about, I think it was 347, it was already very established in the 4th century that Christians were celebrating Jesus being born on the 25th of December. So they calculated that, saying there was it came a little bit from a Jewish tradition to believe that a prophet or a really important person's day of conception and their death were on the same day.
Oh,
so Christians
that takes some organizing,
right? They
probably divine intervention, perhaps.
Maybe a little bit of that. Yes. So they knew that on March 25th, that was the day that Jesus was crucified, that he died. Now he came back 3 days later. Yes, best news ever.
Okay.
So March 25th. So then they calculated from that 9 months for when he would be born. So they calculated conception, death on the same day, 9 months after that, and that leaves us at December 25th.
Oh, wow.
Now, I hear the rumblings of people in their chair and their stirrings going, pagan.
No, they say
pagan.
it's a Saturn. It's the Saturn.
Saturnius is one of this, and Aurelius was the one emperor. So there are two kind of events around there. One of them is very easy and quick to dispel. Well, both of them actually are. One of them had to do with a completely different thing, and this was Aurelius in about 274, who instituted and saying that they're going to have this pagan festival. Yes, it was pagan. That was on the 17th of December. Just before that, it was in October. And had nothing to do with this. In fact, they tried to latch onto the Christians celebrating because they were becoming a bigger and bigger kind of people in that empire. The other
amazing.
The other one was from this cult that lasted about 50 years, and this is the Solus. Oh, I can't remember the name of that one. But it was a very small cult that lasted a very short period of time, who had also a bunch of weird things and random things like that, trying to, again, attach onto Christians celebrating on the 25th of December.
Oh, wow.
And it was only in the 12th century and later on in the Enlightenment kind of time, 16th, 17th century, that you had people who were starting to question
the date.
Not even question the date, but I suppose it would be question the date. But question whether or not Christianity got this from pagans or pagans got it from Christians. It was just always known and has been always known. And we've got just great historical evidence and this is not just from Christian historians, because we've got a lot of really, really good one of those, but from historians kind of as a whole. Now, of course, in any discipline, in any study, you've got the people on the fringes who are like, no.
Yeah.
But in this other random cave or in this other random piece of something that doesn't have very good historical backing or historical evidence, it says something different. But it's not the case. We can know say quite definitively, because we've got very, very good Christian historical records from 300 AD, where we've got Eusebius, who kind of gathered them together. Now, he doesn't speak about this, but we've got very, very good records from this time that this was Christians and that we have been celebrating Christmas on the 25th of December for the past 1,600, 1,700 years. Now, again, that doesn't mean that every Christian should, and we don't look down on anyone who doesn't, but it's kind of nice to be a part of that tradition.
Date, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
Well,
I'd like you to write that down for me.
Oh, okay.
So that anytime somebody does say to me, you shouldn't be doing it on social media, I can say, well, according to Chris.
Yes, well, according to this episode of This Week in Sedgefield.
That's great.
Maybe it's a good one to kind of shelf along over there.
And talking of Christmas and gifts that keep on giving.
Yeah.
Let's go back to our council. Because we really don't, I mean...
There's always stuff to talk about with them, isn't it?
Chris and I are a little worried because if the council does change...
and sort their biz out...
What will we talk about? My goodness.
It'll be, Marge has put up some new lights. Thank you. You've listened to This Week in Sedgefield.
So... In our last paper, we had the story of the vote of no confidence.
But that wasn't the key part. That was one of the parts.
Yeah. Okay. So the main part was that the council had split on their voting for a new municipal manager, but the opposition members had won because the ruling coalition, that is the ANC, the
EFF?
PBI, the EFF, and the PA, they argued amongst themselves and couldn't come to an agreement as to who they wanted.
Yeah.
So the DA won that vote. The DA Kim coalition won that vote. So we got a Mr. Mhloba, was it?
Mapaloba. That's all I'm going to remember. Mapaloba.
Who's the new municipal manager, and he started.
Yes, he started. I saw that about some releases and stuff. That's
in
cool.
addition to that, and I think as a result of that disagreement in that ruling coalition, the deputy mayor.
Yes, this I found. This took me aback.
Yes, the
I feel like I missed
mayor,
it. Yeah.
Who is Mr. Oh, I can't remember his name.
That's an interesting name.
I did chat to him. Anyway, Mr. Marby, of course. It's Mr.
Marby. Thank you.
Mr. Marby, the deputy mayor, and Mr. Lowe, the EFF councillor.
Yeah.
Put in a vote of no confidence against the mayor.
Well, they've proposed.
They proposed it.
Yeah, that's kind of the steps.
Yes. So you propose it in to be included.
Yes, as part of the agenda.
As part of an agenda.
Okay.
So your proposal will be on the agenda.
And then everyone gets dressed up in whites and you've got harps playing. And
pointed hats. No, not that sort of thing. Okay. So according to Mr. Marby, who gave me the final information, they had put it forward. They had submitted their proposals.
Yes.
And it was going to happen on a meeting today.
Was it today? I thought it was on a Tuesday. Okay.
No, it was the 5th of December.
Yes. Okay.
But then there wasn't a meeting today.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened.
Oh.
Now, so it is now due to... they're due to have a meeting on Tuesday next week.
Tuesday coming. Don't know what that day is.
Yeah. That'll be Tuesday the 10th, I would imagine.
Okay.
So, but we don't know because the agenda's not out there.
Okay. But it's...
What happened was they put a vote of no confidence in the mayor, in the speaker, and in the council whip. But now apparently the dates on these proposals were erroneous. It's a nice word to use, isn't it?
Yeah.
Erroneous. So
quite apt.
If that hasn't been sorted, that it might not go on the agenda.
Oh,
and also we never know what's going to happen in the corridors of politics in Neisner. So maybe they'll be withdrawn. Maybe they'll come to an agreement.
Yeah.
There was talk, and we did mention it before. There was talk of trying to overturn the council decision and get a different municipal manager in.
But
there was. That cannot happen unless the council takes the council to court.
That was that. They have to.
Wouldn't that be cool?
We live in an interesting
we do.
system. What a
I can't wait
time.
to be in that courthouse.
Wow, that'd be wild.
So look, I'm really hoping that they do discuss it on Tuesday. We've got a paper out on Wednesday. I'm going to hang back and see if it gets on the agenda.
Yeah, hopefully.
It would be nice to report on that on Wednesday.
Would be, yeah.
But that's exciting times.
Yeah, definitely stuff that we'll speak about. I'm still. There are a lot of names and a lot of things out there. Can you give like a few sentence summary of what happened? What happened to who? And then what are we waiting for?
Summary of what
of this
whole thing
of this council thing. Okay, so
the DA Kim were their vote of choice of municipal manager was carried through because in the leading coalition they couldn't come to agreement. They had two different characters or three different characters that they were discussing, proposing. So their vote was split.
Yes. Okay, with you. Yeah.
Okay. Point number 2, in anger about this, I'm presuming.
Yes. I think that's a
within
pretty
a
safe
couple of days of
assumption,
this, the EFF councillor and the deputy mayor, who's a PBI councillor, decided to get together and lodge a vote of no confidence proposal to be discussed at the next council meeting.
Okay, it's starting to knit together with you, yes.
So in the mayor, in the speaker, and in the council whip.
Yes.
Those will sit with the speaker. They have to lodge them with the speaker, and he decides on the agenda.
Okay.
Now, because the speaker is one of the ones that they want a vote of no confidence against,
well,
he might find a loophole such as the dates were wrong. Or something like that.
I see what you're saying.
That's a possibility.
It's a possibility.
I'm just reaching out here and thinking
Maybe.
out loud.
Yeah.
But I would imagine he would have to point out the dates, and then they would change them. There's a meeting on Tuesday.
Okay.
We want to see if those votes of no confidence, or is it vote of no confidences? Don't know.
Confidences.
We have to wait and see if those are discussed and what's going to happen, because it is the municipality has been falling into a bit of rack and ruin. Does an opposition party want to take it over? They're the ones that have been actually saying they want to
dissolve right?
council.
Yes.
Like throw them all in a bath of acid.
Yeah.
It's quite extreme.
Not even like the good kind of.
But
not
they
even
could
the
sell
fancy
tickets.
spa kind.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sell tickets. Because they had, and it was... I assume with the DA's support, the TAG group, when they brought that kind of latest case against the council, that was one of the recommendations. There were a few. One of them was for the dissolution,
TAG,
the dissolving, and that the DA would like. But then from provincial DA, there was a letter saying that maybe not, that's not... the strongest case, there was a little bit murky. Yeah.
The proposal to dissolve council actually originally came from the DA.
Okay.
But there was a...
so the TAG latched onto it.
Well, no, TAG mostly latched on to taking everyone to court.
Oh, there's let's do it as well.
A court order to get the municipal manager at the time, the acting municipal manager, and the councillors to face the music for making the wrong decisions. In other words, employing people who weren't qualified, and
because there was just a string of those.
So they wanted
to.
They wanted to get and they also wanted to take provincial government to court. Well, to get a court order to get them not to dissolve council. I think to take over, to put them under administration.
Administration, that's it. Yes,
that's it. So that's what they wanted, and I think that's what provincial government have kind of said. We're not sure. Why do we want this? No. It's a potato. What is hot? So during the original discussions earlier this year, when provincial did step in, as well as Cocta to say this is what you guys must do to sort out your municipality, they are all saying, well, the provincial government is saying, actually, you didn't do all those things, and the municipal council and administration is saying, well, we did.
They said we did, and there was I remember that press release saying we did. In August we spoke about it.
Yes,
and in August we started the plan.
Yeah.
We made a plan.
And
look at August.
Yeah. And we can't do much because we're in a drought.
Level 2
we're still in a level 2 drought. We still have level 2 water restrictions and water costs.
Yes. So
what do they call it when you got to pay
fine.
more? Yes, penalties.
Yeah. Penalty. There we go. It's a penalty. It's a penalty. Do you know? Have you heard of anyone actually getting a penalty? Because we had to, under these restrictions, you had to drop down by 20% consumption or something ridiculous like that.
I haven't heard of it. I just know that I've mentioned it before. Yes. I had a whacking great 12 grand added onto my account.
Did anybody answer the phone for you in that, by the way?
Nobody's answered the phone yet. Nobody's answered my emails.
Smoke signals?
No. But they've also not come and turned my water and electricity off, which I'm quite grateful for.
That is quite helpful.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
So, who knows?
Okay, so interesting things happening around town.
Yes.
I think you've heard more about this, but there have been a few cats
Ooh,
that have not disappeared. I mean, this sounds like I'm sensationalizing this way more because there's no kind of there's no research on this, but this I found just incredibly interesting.
Yeah, well, basically what's happened, okay, so there's a group that monitors missing animals. Mm-hmm. So it's a WhatsApp group. So if someone's lost their dog, they'll quickly put it on the group.
Yeah.
And then someone might say, oh, I've seen it on Hyacinth Street, or it's on the island, or someone else will be driving along and see a dog and take a picture and say, whose dog is this?
Cool.
It's a help everyone thing, community thing.
Nice.
Well, what has been happening over the last probably year or so is cats have been going missing and not being found.
Ooh.
So normally what happens if a cat goes missing, it'll be found somewhere, or it will be involved in an accident on the road, which is tragic.
Found in some way,
Yeah. But they're not being found.
Ooh.
So what the suggestion has come up, because some of these, I think most of these cats, if I can put my neck out there, if I remember correctly, most of these cats have been going missing in the sort of Groenvallei region.
Yes. So, surrounded by a lot of nature, Groenvallei nearby, Greenbelt vibes. Okay.
So the suggestion has been made by quite a few people. Mm-hmm. So it's more than just a suggestion, I think. But
people in the know, like the scientists, the guys who
have said that there are caracals there. Rooikata.
Would I say?
Yeah, rooikata. Well, they're not really red.
Yeah.
But they're kind of, that's rusty sort of.
Yes.
Anyway, caracals. I think most people know what a caracal is.
Yes, they're amazing.
It's not as big as a cheetah, but it's much bigger than a domestic cat.
Yes.
And in my discussions with Cape Nature about it, they list them as an apex predator.
Oh, so at the top of the food pyramid.
Yeah, the top in this area, they're an apex predator.
Oh, whoa!
So
we're not even the apex predator.
No, we got toppled. I think
us against the caracal.
Since a lot of us became vegans, we're no longer the apex predator. Yeah. In vegetable circles, we are.
There we are.
So what happened was caracals live in the green belts and whatever.
Yes.
And as places like Sedgefield and other places, in fact, even Cape Town, as Cape Town has grown as well, they've kind of their living areas got smaller and smaller.
Sure.
From
humans, urbanization, and all that.
And their prey has got less and less. Part of this has been because of poisons. People put out poisons.
What, poisoning caracals?
No, poisoning rats.
Oh, okay. They're poisoning their prey.
And birds. They don't poison birds, but birds eat mice.
Yes, that are poisoned. Okay. We've had an impact on this.
Those poisons have sort of reduced the prey. And they say the caracal have adapted to sort of semi-urbanization. So they hang around in the near the trees and what have you,
dark alleys,
and pounce upon whatever prey they can find.
Unsuspecting prey.
And that can be a cat.
I
mean, the caracal is a cat, but I mean, the prey can be a domestic cat.
Yes, it would be. They wander. A lot of them wander around at night, nocturnal. Not a lot of house cats. I know that there are house cats.
They're roamers. They're hunters. They're hunters themselves.
Yeah.
And let's face it, domestic cats are so cool. Yeah, they're too cool.
Good eating. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no. I'm saying nothing ruffles a domestic cat.
Oh yeah. I see. A cool cat is where
when you
going.
get home, your domestic cat doesn't rush to greet you and lick your knees and go on their back legs and beg for a kibble. No, they kind of look at you.
So not loving. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So nothing phases them. So they're probably, when they're out there, they don't have that spider sense of this thing might hunt me.
Yes, no cat spider sense. Yeah.
So, and then we dare I do this?
Yes.
You see, someone I know had a cat on the island.
Yeah.
A pet cat, and because of there's a lot of bird life on the island.
Yes, that's a big consideration.
They have a problem there with domestic cats eating birds, catching birds.
And the shiny, pretty ones, not just our run-of-the-mill rock pigeons or whatnot. Yeah.
So what was the suggestion was made was that you put a bell on your cat's collar so that the birds would know, hey, here comes cat.
Oh, that's why. Yeah.
And the cats would fail in their attempts to catch birds.
Yeah, thwarted.
Which is a natural thing. But now you think of a caracal sort of having a little nap under a tree and he hears this little bell ringing. And one thinks of Pavlov's dogs. He's like, oh.
Pavlov's Caracal.
Yes. Anyway, no, I mean, sorry. I don't
we want to be sensitive here. We understand.
We want to be sensitive. But it is a problem. So we are putting together some research through Cape Nature Conservation and through some other
We're going to roam the streets wearing bells and see if we get pounced upon by Caracal.
No, but there's websites you can go to how to protect your cat, keeping your cat in an
Send
enclosure.
Them out with a big knife. Make him look scary. Give him a mohawk.
Your cats. I don't know what the answer is. Because it also it's terrible, and I can imagine the anguish of someone losing a pet cat.
Yes, of course.
But it's also kind of the circle of life in a rural place like Sedgefield.
That's it. Yeah, we're in a.
We're in a green belt.
That's it. A big part of where we live is trying to coincide with the kind of natural flow. And we're very much part of that natural flow of things. And we change things just as any species does, like the Caracal has.
Yeah.
But we're the ones who get to be conscious of it and try to look after it. So how can we, but also realizing that there are a lot of these things that happen.
So we kind of have to initiate something. Save the Caracal and save the cat. The other cats as well.
Eating our dog.
We don't want to get rid of the Caracals.
No, of course not.
But we
that would be a
also
tragedy.
People to be able to protect their cats. So there's a lot of research online. There's an organization that have done quite a bit of research on this. If you go to one of the things you can go to is what's it called? Sorry, I'm just looking at my phone. Catio Spaces. Catio Spaces. It's a website.
Okay, send me the link. I'll put it in the description.
Catio Spaces. That talks about how to protect your cats from wild animals. But there is also a group that called what are they called?
Cat lovers.
No, there's a group
cat huggers
that protect the Caracal.
They're
actually doing a lot of research. The Urban Caracal Project is what they're called.
Okay.
The Urban Caracal Project, and that's another website worth seeing.
Oh, very, very good.
Yeah.
This links up very nicely because you mentioned how someone came into the Edge office, I think you said this week, like speaking about the octopi at Caracal.
Yes.
And just kind of showing concern for how many people will go along to Caracal and to rock pools and just kind of along some of our reef areas, Platbank and all of those. And they're just like grabbing the
octopuses,
Yes, shame. The octopi,
I mean, she had my attention when she said pie.
Yeah, exactly, Octopi pie, you brought an octopi pie, I'm in.
But it was a lady that came in recently and she just said she had seen some people taking octopi out the rock pool. The person apparently had a permit.
Yes.
You see, it's one of those difficult things because because say fish aren't warm and fuzzy and huggy and what have you.
They love you to cuddle.
We don't want people to overfish.
Yes,
but they must just catch what they're allowed. But it's different when it's a creature that you can kind of relate to.
Now,
octopi
much smarter.
are kind of halfway on that, aren't they? Because you can get a permit to. I don't think there's any mammals that you can get a permit to in this area.
Interesting,
to eat or shoot or what have you.
Probably not dolphins.
No, not dolphins.
No, okay.
But so octopi are kind of fishing things. You can get a permit to catch an octopi. A weird thing.
Yes.
Kind of gross. And weird. You also heard someone talk about it.
Yes.
I was told when I went years and years ago on one of those moonlight walks,
Oh, cool. Yeah.
It was a gentleman that took it, not the regular guys. He was like a stand-in. He said, if you're that desperate for some octopus and you catch one, oh, this is gross. He said, chop a leg off and put it back. Not your own leg.
Okay, I wanted to check.
No, you've only got two. Chop a leg off an octopus.
Yeah.
He claimed, and you had this confirmed by a scientist you spoke to from Sandparks, that the leg will grow again.
Well, an octopus is a ridiculously amazing creature. It is phenomenal. The amount that it can do, it is smart. It does things like, if there are, for people who keep them in enclosures and stuff like that in rooms, they always find a way to get out because they're ridiculous and amazing. They've got a beak, but otherwise they're completely squishy.
They can't talk, though.
I mean, you can try.
Okay.
And they're also, they're very selective in their conversation.
Okay.
But this would recognize different people, and it recognizes them by, it will only squirt one person. So from its beak, squirts out at them. Man. Even if that person were to put on someone else in the room's clothes, hopefully not changing at the same time. That's why it's squirting at them. Get out of here, not now. But it will squirt at them. It can recognize them, and it knows them. So they're that
clever, hey?
They're very, very clever. If you've seen the camouflage that they do, and that also links up with their legs, that each of their legs has pretty much its own brain. That when it's chopped off, it can still camouflage itself, and and that leg will grow back.
So, like if it's on your plate, it'll hide amongst the carrots and go orange.
Yeah, no, it totally will. You must see how it can even disguise itself as like pretty much tumbleweed on the equivalent of tumbleweed on the ocean floor, and it moves kind of with the tide. They are ridiculous. They can make the top of their heads kind of look like eyes of other fish and copy what other animals look like.
Did you watch that
Octopus Teacher?
My octopus teacher,
Yeah, I spoke about it with our Sandparks guy, Kyle, and he's just such a good guy to chat to.
Yeah.
Oh, man, we could have chatted for days. Yeah. But he told so many interesting things. Anyway, what I want to skip over to with this, because, yes, octopi are absolutely brilliant. You need a permit to harvest them, only a certain amount in a basket, they call it. Yeah. But that is very, very difficult to monitor, to police, and it can cause big problems.
Yes.
They don't last very long, these octopi, about 2 years.
Yeah. And there's not many left.
That's the issue.
In the rock pools.
Yeah. That's the very, very big issue with this. Now, this was something that was happening in, and this is from Kyle, he was saying up in Mozambique, that they were seeing a massive decline in the population and they were worried about it. And then it was, and this is what I loved about it, it came from the fishermen, and they said, we have to sort this issue out. This is something that we are either directly impacting or we're seeing the direct impact of.
Yeah.
And so what they did is they got in some very clever scientists and asked, how can we better do this? Okay. And then they brought in this model of kind of seasonal, like we do with many of our fish, the elf and all of those guys. And then they implemented that to great success. So much so that it's actually been copied in a lot of places along our coast. I don't know about other coastlines, but it's actually worked and it's actually doing well. And
we need to do that here.
That's it. Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
But again, it's the conservation of it. A big part of it is going to be being a little bit uncomfortable, I think, in this.
Yeah.
If you're at Caracal and you see somebody just kind of taking it out and playing in a loving way, saying, hey, do you have a permit? Or, is it the right size? I don't know about the octopi and the right size. And
maybe we need some more signage, because I didn't know anything about an octopus permit.
Yes, yeah. Well, there will be kind of where you park there at Swartplay, I would think, unless it's also rusted. I mean, they rust apart and everything like that. But the main point of that, and what I really want to point to in that, is that it once again comes from the ground level. It's not these shiny heroes who are employed to do this kind of stuff that are going to enact the biggest change. It's the people who are on the ground. And that's where we've seen more success in our municipality, in our area, and in others.
Well, you see, the problem with a lot of these things is that they need policing, don't they?
Yeah.
So, and we don't have the police. We don't have enough Sandparks people and what have you to tell people that they're wrong. So you're so right. You made up such an important point there. If the fishermen are monitoring one another, then they can sort of turn and it's less authoritative. But if you turn and say, hey, dude, you're only allowed to take 2.
Yeah.
And maybe a bit of education and what have you. If that comes from your fisherman mate or someone who you regularly fish with, if it becomes uncool to take as a fisherman to take,
I think it'll make a difference.
You're so right. That would be amazing.
Yeah,
and there was that other lovely story of the guy who was caught by a sandbox van.
Yeah,
and he had 3 octopuses.
Oh yes,
and he was going to get a heavy fine.
Yeah.
And he actually said, look, these are my octopuses from my fish tank at home. I just bring them out to swim in the sea every now and then.
Taking them for a walk.
Well, he said, it's nice that they go in the sea. And the guy says, I don't believe you. He said, no, really? He says, I let them go. 5 minutes later, I call them and they come back.
What?
Yeah. So the sandbox guy said, okay, well, let's see this. So he puts them in the water and he waits 5 minutes. And he turns around, he walks up to his bucky and the policeman, the sandbox guy says, whoa, what about your octopus? He says, what octopus? Okay, got you with that one. Yeah, no, I love that idea. I love the idea of self-policing.
Yeah.
And, this could work on other things, couldn't it?
It could.
It could work in, we talked about the toilets being vandalized. If we could only get the kids who see vandalism going on to say, hey, come on, don't do that.
And it's clean to help, to see it as part of our community.
If we can police one another without being... curtain twitchers.
Especially in the bathrooms. You better, or we'll set the Caracal on you.
Yes, that's it.
We'll ring the bell, buddy, and then you're in trouble.
Ring that bell. And you'll have a mass of Caracals rushing over to
Awesome, but that does it for this week.
Okay, we're out of time, aren't we?
We are. We flew through it, man. What a good one. Bummer, as always, thanks so much for the chat.
Thank you. What an interesting chat this time.
Wasn't it? I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, good. Me too. I'm going to go and eat my small chocolate now.
I'll give you a 2 blue rune.
Thank you. That rings a bell.